Hey guys, thanks for joining me again with Learn to Play Games. We're here at Gencon 2017 and we're going to be taking a look at a new game from Greenbrier Games that's going to be coming to Kickstarter soon. So can you tell me a little bit about what you guys have here?
Right on. Hey everybody, I'm Walter. This is Champions of Hara. Okay. It is a trip bunk fantasy adventure game with MOBA style elements. So everyone plays as one of the 6 main characters in the story, 3 more with expansions. In the game, you're going to be traveling around the world, battling monsters, closing rifts, and dealing with small story elements in order to gain the 3 spectrums of energy to help keep Hara in balance. Throughout the game, the worlds are going to be shifting around and moving. Each game session is a scenario. Scenarios are either player versus player, competitive games, or they're cooperative, where we work together to solve team-based puzzles and big boss fights.
Nice. Cool, so I'm going to go ahead and jump behind the camera now. We're going to take a look at this game in depth so you guys can see all the beautiful artwork and some of the different features that we have for you.
Let's do it. All right. So first, start by saying that everything you see here is a prototype asset. This game is going live on Kickstarter August 29th, and in between now and the end of the campaign, everything that you see here is going to be totally leveled up by the fantastic Stephen Gibson, the graphic designer and illustrator behind Grimslingers. So what you see here is just sort of a taste of what the final product is going to look like. We'll jump right in. So there's 6 different worlds that make up Hara. Each one of these is a floating island that will actually travel around as the game proceeds. Each of these decks onto itself is its own story. So in the decks you'll find monsters that you have to defeat, little story things that you'll have to, little encounters that you deal with that usually involve you making a choice or beating a challenge. As you defeat monsters and deal with those stories, you're going to be gaining energy that you need to level up your character and eventually win in versus mode or help you beat the boss in co-op mode. You'll be gaining these items, which are kept in a separate item deck off to the side, never drawn at random. They're given as direct loot one-to-one with defeating monsters. Some cards come out face down, hidden events, which are usually stories but could be secret monsters, and some monsters stay out face up. Monsters have the stats that you'll need to defeat them in combat, and then a set of different rewards that they're going to give you when you beat them. So you're traveling around this ever-changing world. In the process, you're going to be using your character's ability card. So again, this is just prototype design here. Every character has 4 starting cards that they're going to have to play the game, and then different cards that they're going to level up into. Each character has their own completely unique resource. Here we have Karu, who spends grit as he uses his powers. Over here, we've got Persephone, who gains fear when she takes damage and passes different thresholds. But each character totally has their own vibe as they're doing it, referenced by their ability cards. So, on your turn, you're going to have 4 cards in your hand and 3 actions to use them. 1 action being 1 card. When you play a card from your hand, the top part of this ability is going to happen, and then the card sits in front of you for another turn. On a subsequent turn, you can activate that same card from the board using an action, and now the bottom part of that ability takes place. So you're cycling through a series of these different abilities that you've got to kind of puzzle through in order to take down the challenges in the game here. And as you gain energy, your character is going to level up. When you hit the middle parts of these bars, these thresholds, you're going to look into your character's level up pile here and take 1 of 2 cards of the corresponding colors. So the game goes in a series of these scenarios which are organized into story arcs. So a story arc would be 2 play sessions, or in the same night if you so chose. You play first a versus arena to determine a champion. So it's player versus player, we're all beating each other up, messing around. When one player is crowned the champion, that player is going to have 2 scenarios to choose from, 2 forking parts of their story that we would choose from as a group, which involve us fighting big giant bosses together as a team. If we succeed at your scenario, your character is going to get the corresponding power. This is a legacy ability that your character will then have for as long as you, the player, are playing with that particular character in the co-op game. So it won't unbalance the competitive, but it does add this legacy progression to the ever increasingly difficult co-op scenarios. The scenarios involve a lot of different things. They're totally designed about changing the rules. They occasionally involve zones being completely deleted from the board and you trying to manage the board as you're going, dealing with various puzzle challenges out if you need to collect tokens in the right order. The bosses all have powers that are totally going to wreck your day. So you really need to work together. That being said, there are also scenarios that are different versus variants, whether that be a team fight or different amounts of victory needed during the game. Also, we have variable turn order, so you have these turn order cards that give you different buffs. Again, these are just prototypes here, different buffs depending on how late you are in the turn order, but they'll rotate as you're going. And so core game, 2 to 4 players, takes about 20 to 30 minutes per player. With expansions, you go up to 5 to 6 players, and the expansions add in 3 more playable characters with their own decks and resources, 3 more big bosses, a bunch of other little minis for things like rifts. Oh, we didn't even talk about rifts. So there's 6 world decks. These cards are going to be spawned out onto the boards of the subsequent zone. Then there's also a complex deck of world cards that are going to get spawned out everywhere across the zones. And we do that, we take a card, and it's going to get spawned out with a roll of the dice. These are the world dice. So this is going to show us that this card is going to show up in the orange zone, Orechi Waste, on space 2. So this card would show up over there. This happens to be a red rift. This is a non-violent way of collecting energy. These are pockets of the unstable light that makes up matter in Hara that you are going to try to collect. So here you have, by trying to close this rift, I would gain 1 of the red points, and then I have a challenge of rolling dice and paying some of my resources in order to try to get more energy from it. And that's the same resources that I would be gaining from battling monsters. Here would be the green ones. I'll also add, the game is totally narrative focused, so we've got a series of graphic shorts on the way. This is the first one. It's available online right now. When the Kickstarter launches on August 29th, we'll be releasing the next chapter, and these are 10-page shorts that tell the traumatic backstories of the characters before they're brought here into Hara.
So thanks again, Walter, for showing us this really neat, interesting game. So you were saying that this is going to be coming to Kickstarter about
August 29th, right after Gen Con.
So
we'll be on
definitely
for 30 days.
Yeah. So look for that, and I will also have a video covering more in depth on the game, showing you some more of the mechanics during the Kickstarter and that. So stay tuned for that. And definitely check this game out. It looks absolutely fantastic, and the coloring and everything is beautiful. The artwork is really, really nice. And I will do my best during that video to show you guys more of that as well. So until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks.